Welcome back, everybody, to the beautiful land of Hexaco. Spirits are high. We're all pissed off at Gary Gensler. I'm here to tell you it's going to be okay. Hex is going to survive as long as you can make it till 2025. What's going on, everybody? Stream of consciousness has answered no. Yeah, hot tip for anybody that might be new here. My titles are specifically designed to get new people in, new people watching. And what better time than to capitalize on a hot moment like this with, the Hex latest press release from the SEC that came out. Very nice of them to advertise the movie for us coming out August 5th, 6th, and 4th at theaters near you. Regal Cinemas is releasing the highest of stakes documentary. You don't want to miss it. Theaters are already sold out all across America, so try to find one that's still available. Just look up thehighestofstakes.com. You're not going to want to miss this movie. It's about the billion-dollar king of crypto or con man. It's up for you to decide, guys. It's up for you to decide, but the SEC is definitely helping push that movie along with one of the most bullshit claims I've ever seen of all crypto history. So here's a guy that missed FTX, they missed BlockFi, missed Celsius, missed all these scammers out there, the real scammers, Alex Mashinsky, Sam Bankman-Fried, Do Kwon, launched a $1 billion failed crypto project called Terra Luna. And where was the SEC protecting investors at that time? Where were they, everybody? They were nowhere to be found. So now to save face, and so some random guys in the SEC can get their promotions and climb up the corporate ladder that crypto is invented to pull you out of. Some of these traditional old finance boomers still want to cling to, the way things are, the status quo, because you got to register securities the old-fashioned way. With crypto, a totally new asset class, let's try to apply a 90-year-old Howey test law to a brand new asset class. Yeah, it just doesn't work. All right, it just doesn't work. So some outrageous false accusations today. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed just reading all this BS, but it's safe to say I've turned to the better side of the bed, the comfier, cooler side. I flipped over the pillow and I'm nice and comfy now. So I'm going to tell you guys how everything is going to be all right and how all of the allegations against Mr. Hart himself are completely BS. Completely BS. Unregistered securities, number one, they don't pass the Howey test. They fail the Howey test. So there's a really good case to be made that HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX would actually fail the Howey test in court, meaning that they can't be claimed securities and they can't be in violation of securities laws if they're not securities. And even if they were, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because with other coins like EOS or other centralized companies like XRP, Coinbase, Ripple, they settle with the SEC, guys. They get a slap on the wrist. They pay a $13 million fine, $40 million fine, whatever it is. That would be peanuts to a guy like Richard anyway. And that's worst case scenario. Okay, so in the worst case, Hex ends up getting a fine, pays a settlement. In the best case, we take these guys to actual decision time, take them to court, and who knows, with Richard's fire in his heart, pun intended, and with the amount of money he has with his war chest, he is one of these guys that could actually take the SEC to court and force them to make a decision, an official statement that Hex, PulseChain, and PulseX are not in violation of securities laws. But what's even more blasphemous and outrageous to me is the misappropriation of funds claim. So if you're new here, guys, you might have just heard the news. If you haven't heard the press release yet, well, you can go to sec.gov or just follow the SEC on Twitter. I don't actually follow them. They don't deserve my follow, but go to their homepage or go to their Twitter page and read their shitty press release. It's hot off the press that they alleged that he basically misappropriated funds by buying a $12 million diamond, among other things like luxury goods, sports cars, and watches and the like. Richard, he's an eccentric guy, an eccentric multimillionaire, but here's what a lot of people don't realize. And here's why that claim is so asinine, just totally ass backwards, totally terrible claim. Here's what people don't realize, guys. If you're new here, I hope you're taking this to heart. I hope you're listening very closely. People seem to think that Richard needed to launch all this to make money, when in reality, the dude was already rich since his mid to early 20s. Okay. He was an early internet marketer, entrepreneur who turned over $160 million yearly in revenue. Okay. Number one. Number two, he was early to the crypto game. He mined full 50 Bitcoin blocks. And he did that when Bitcoin was 50 cents in 2011. So the guy, come on, it doesn't take a genius to figure this out. You're a retired tech entrepreneur from the age of 24. I believe he was retired at 25, 24. And then he's bored. He's sitting around in his underwear all day, decides to mine Bitcoin in 2011. So this guy's got tens of thousands of Bitcoin, right? He doesn't need your money to go spending on frivolous items like Ferraris, watches, and all the like. he did that for a little thing called outrage marketing. To get attention in a bear market is something that's very hard to do. Okay. So really, I feel like sometimes it takes an actual person that's kind of closer to the HEX PulseChain community, somebody like myself, to explain it to people that might be new here, that might have just heard the hot headline. You know, you might not know what's going on. It's really not that hard to figure out. The dude's in it for the glory. The dude's in it for the attention. He actually wants to make good crypto products to help make other people rich. And he says that time and time again. If you just go back and look at his old live streams, he's in it for the glory, not the money. But I feel like that's hard for some people to understand, especially, and I could see it from their point of view, right? I could see it from the SEC's point of view. Somebody complains to the SEC that, oh, man, I lost money. I lost $100, and, you know, because the price was high and now the price is low. But if you bought high and sold low, does that make something a scam? Does it? Or because guess what, guys? Everything is in the shitter. Every single crypto coin, most stocks out there. If you bought them 2 years ago and you're still holding them now like I am, I'm down 90% just like a lot of you guys. And it doesn't matter if you were holding Solana, if you were holding Chainlink, or whatever, Dogecoin, it's all down bad, even Bitcoin. But just because something goes up in price and then goes down doesn't make it a scam, does it? So I think people are just extra angry because they don't like the wealth flaunting. They don't like the peacocking, the literal peacocking. You can go watch a GIF of Richard Hart literally twerking underneath a peacock. It's all symbolic. It's all by design. He's playing a character. He was playing a character for the movie, especially to try to get more attention in what's called outrage marketing. You know, it works for controversial people like Trump or Andrew Tate or Logan Paul or, Conor McGregor. It's all to get eyeballs. It's to get you to look, because it's like watching a train wreck. Oh my God, who is this guy buying all this Gucci and Prada when I'm down 90%? And some people just get so triggered that to them, there's no other option. He must be selling all of the crypto that he created, right? He must be, because I mean, that's what I would do if I was him, right? That's how a lot of people think. A lot of people think that because they would scam out, that they project that on a guy, self-retired, self-made multimillionaire, and they think that's what the millionaire would do as well. When you've got $100 million in the bank or more, I mean, he's rumored to be nearly a billionaire at the price of Bitcoin. If you do the math from 2011 at 50 cents Bitcoin to, $20,000, $30,000 Bitcoin, he could be pushing a billionaire status, right? Guys like that don't need money. Once you've got all your financial needs met, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you're at the apex, you're at the self-actualization part. You no longer need to rug pull, right? So I hope my stream is still up. I saw my connection just went out a little bit. So if I'm good, tell me in the chat, guys. If I go out, let me know in the chat. I hope to be connected. I'm connected to a landline right now, so hopefully my internet speed is pretty good. But that's what's going on here, guys. That's what's going on. I'm here to tell you, if you don't understand that, that is the first thing you should understand as to why this SEC charge is so stupid. It's hilarious to me, actually, because number one, the timing couldn't be more perfect. The timing could not be more perfect to launch this, 4 days before one of the biggest documentaries in crypto history. I mean, this is going to be the Tiger King of crypto. This is going to be the Tiger King of crypto. You can't look away from this guy. Love him or hate him, you're going to know what his name is, right? People say it's that Pirates of the Caribbean meme. People say about HEX, oh, you might be the worst crypto I've ever heard of, right? But you have heard of me. So that's the whole thing, right? That's what's going on here. It's to get eyeballs, to get attention. This guy's an internet marketer. He basically invented, email marketing back in the day. He knows what works. He knows what doesn't work. And so I know I don't have to tell you guys a lot of this, but look, there's two things going on with the SEC charge. And is it going to kill PulseChain? Is it going to kill HEX? No, guys. You should know that when you read a title of a YouTube video and there's a question in the title of the YouTube video, the answer is always no, right? The answer is, the title is there to draw people in that might be wondering, oh my God, is this really a bad thing? And if you look on the bright side, glass half full, yes. Did the price dip? Yes. How much did it dip? 60%. How much did it dip now? Guess what? It's all the way recovered back up to negative 30%. And if I was a speculating man, if I had to guess, and it's just a guess, I would say within 2 weeks' time after the documentary, we're probably going to be at prices that we were at a week ago. We're probably going to be right back up to square one, and it's going to be like none of this giant price crash ever happened. But there's a lot of fear and uncertainty and doubt because a lot of people don't know how the SEC works. They don't know that the SEC doesn't put people in jail. They're not a criminal entity. So everyone's saying, oh, the SEC is going to put Richard in jail. They can't. That's the Department of Justice that does that. And they only do that after a long, lengthy process, finding actual facts, evidence that something is very wrong. And in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, but I do know about the Howey test, and I do know what other case law in crypto has said with Ripple, Library, EOS. The worst case scenario here is slap on the wrist, pay a settlement fine, and then business as usual. Okay, and the best case scenario is we get definitive clearance from the SEC to continue operating because, you know, the SEC, the HEX Investment Trust has already been approved and is in good standing with the SEC. The many legal opinion letters have been written to the SEC. There's a lot of good cases to make in addition to the fact that it literally does fail the Howey test. What is the Howey test, guys? The Howey test is 4 legs. And if you fail any one of these 4 legs, you could be a security. Or no, if you pass all 4 of the legs, rather. But you have to pass all 4 of the legs. So all 4 of the following statements must be true for you to be a security. What are they? There has to be an investment of money into a common pool with the expectation of profit from the work of others. That's 4 legs. Now, the investment of money into a common pool, maybe there's a case to be made that they might pass those 2 legs. But the expectation of profit solely from the work of others, those 2 legs is where HEX and PulseChain and PulseX fail the Howey test. And HEX has even a better case than PulseChain and PulseX, okay? With PulseChain, there's maybe a more reasonable argument about the expectations of the people that sacrificed their money. But number one, it was a sacrifice. You gave up your money without expectation by very definition of the word sacrifice. But with HEX launched fully complete, okay? There was no money raised up front. HEX just launched. There was no HEX, and then there was a HEX. So you couldn't have had any expectations early by investing any money early because there was nowhere to invest into HEX before HEX existed. HEX just existed without raising any money up front. That was all put up by whatever, any payments that Richard might have made to developers, that was entirely his own money in the early days of HEX. So that's where we're standing right now. And it's going to be up to the judges, and Richard Hart's probably got some pretty good lawyers if I had to guess. And so these things could get solved in a matter of a month, or it could take a matter of years. You know, the guy, who's the Kraken guy? Not Jerome Powell. Jesse Powell, right? Jesse Powell, owner of Kraken, pretty true to the original cypherpunk movement. If I had to pick any of the last remaining bastion of crypto entrepreneurs, he's the closest it comes, other than Richard, of course, to founding a crypto company for the reasons that crypto was invented. So Jesse Powell hates the SEC as much as the rest of you probably do. And you should, because guess what? They hate you too. And they hate innovation, and they're driving innovation to Singapore, okay? They're driving crypto out of the USA with their reckless enforcement actions. They are, because they don't want to redefine clear rules for a clearly modern world where the 90-year-old Howey test doesn't apply anymore. I digress. Jesse Powell, he settled real quick. He just said, okay, you know what, SEC, here's $30 million. Shut the fuck up. Go away. Here's your $30 million, and let me operate my business as usual. That's an option. That's an option. That could happen with the whole HEX thing. Some people might prefer that, right? But what could also be done is keep fighting the case, keep taking them to court, and get a legal definition, a declarative statement from the SEC that HEX, PulseChain, PulseX are not securities. And that would take, in my opinion, that would probably take years, similar to the Ripple case. But Ripple won, guys. Ripple won their case. It took them 5 years, but they won their case. And if Ripple's not a security, then God, HEX and PulseChain, it's almost like they can't be, right? Ripple is literally a centralized company that's promising expectations for all the investors. It's a building full of people with a CEO and a CIO and a COO and all these C-level guys that are making promises for their investors. So if somehow Ripple can slide by saying that the XRP token is different than the XRP company, then I think a decentralized cryptocurrency can slide by. Because here's another thing that a lot of people don't understand, right? If you're new, this is also specifically directed at you. A lot of people really want HEX and PulseChain and PulseX to be a company. They don't understand the concept that this is not a centralized company. I'm not paid by anybody. I'm not paid by Richard. I'm promoting these projects because I like them. I talk about them because I like them, not because anyone has ever paid me. That's a fact. No one has ever paid me to show any of this stuff. I'm paying myself with my gains, right? But there's no conglomeration of insiders here. And everybody wants there to be, because it just doesn't make sense to them how they want to overlay their company structure, their narrative of a corporation onto what's a decentralized cryptocurrency. The two things are not compatible with each other, but we're entering this new paradigm where the old money, the traditional finance bros, the boomers, they want it to be all the same. They want it to be easy. Like, oh, Hex, let's just arrest the CEO of Hex. And you can't, because Richard's not the CEO of anything. Yes. Is he the founder? Yes. It was his idea. He had a guy write the code. He helped write the code, but he doesn't control the smart contract. And that's what a lot of people have a hard time understanding. So listen very closely right here. When we say that HEX and PulseX, HEX and PulseX are what we call immutable smart contracts. Okay. They're Solidity code that live on top of a blockchain. They're blocks of code that live on top of a blockchain. And what blockchain do they live on? Well, HEX lives on the Ethereum blockchain and the PulseChain blockchain. And PulseChain is its own blockchain, right? So you've got networks, aka blockchains. That's Ethereum and PulseChain. And then you've got smart contracts, which are little bits of code that are built on top of blockchains. So Ethereum, PulseChain, these are blockchain networks. Okay, this is Crypto 101. This is important to know because you're going to feel a lot better about what's going on here. Ethereum and PulseChain are layer 1 blockchain solutions. They're blockchains just like Bitcoin. They're just computer networks that are all running the same code. HEX and PulseX and Uniswap, Chainlink, all these different things are smart contracts built on top of their various blockchains. They're like the cars, right? And the blockchains are like the roads that the cars drive on. So HEX is a smart contract that was built on top of a blockchain with no admin keys, no backdoors, no off switch, and nobody can change up the rules of the code. So literally, it's like the toothpaste is out of the tube. After HEX launched, nobody else can go and fuck with the design. Nobody can. Nobody can go back and edit the code. Nobody can change the inflation rate. And that's what a lot of people seem to have such a hard time understanding. So if you're new to crypto, I'm trying to kind of convey this idea to you that immutable code is different. There's no middleman. Crypto was invented to get rid of middlemen. And HEX is exactly that. It's an immutable, no middleman smart contract with no admin keys, no backdoors, and 100% uptime after almost 4 years of existence. Stuff in crypto gets hacked all the time. Celsius went down. Terra Luna went down. BlockFi, 3 Arrows Capital, Voyager. I can go on and on. I can keep listing scam after scam after scam. And HEX is the one thing with 100% uptime for 4 years. Now, did the price go up a lot? Yes. Did the price go down a lot? Yes. But that has nothing to do with the code itself. That's just simply people buying it and selling it on the open market. So that's how these coins work. These are true decentralized coins. Or a lot of other coins in crypto, they're kind of like fake decentralized. HEX and PulseChain and PulseX are real decentralized. And how do I know that PulseChain is decentralized? Well, in PulseChain, just like in Ethereum, PulseChain is a clone of Ethereum, literally a clone of Ethereum, okay? And in Ethereum, you've got validators, which are just people that run their computers to help run the network. And it's basically just thousands and thousands of individuals running their computers all over the world. And they're all running the same code, which basically just validates the blockchain. It keeps a record of all the transactions. And all these computers basically agree with each other and say, okay, we all agree that these transactions took place. So PulseChain's a clone of that with cheaper fees and faster transaction times. And in PulseChain right now, you've got 35,000 validators all over the world. And you can't knock on 35,000 doors all at the same time and say, hey, you got to shut your validator off. PulseChain's illegal. So just like HEX and PulseX live on top of a blockchain with immutable code and they can't be shut off by any regulatory agency, they cannot be shut off. PulseChain's a little bit different. PulseChain can't be shut off because you can't knock on 35,000 doors at the same time, right? There's jurisdictions that, if all the validators in India shut down, well, guess what? You'd have all the validators in Australia would still be running. So there's jurisdictional arbitrage there too. And that's the beauty of a decentralized blockchain like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, and like PulseChain. These are all just different computer networks, okay? So if we understand this, we understand that PulseChain's a layer 1. We understand that HEX is a smart contract on top of a blockchain. Can't be shut off. That's what helps me sleep at night, guys, and that's what should help you sleep at night too. All right. The cat's out of the bag. Toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't shut it off. So what can you do? Maybe you can find the guy. Maybe you can find the guy that created it. Or maybe you can't. Maybe you can't because maybe it fails all the Howey test legs or some of the Howey test legs. There's a good chance of that happening. Right. And as I'm reading through this SEC complaint, and that's all it is right now, it's a complaint that Richard will have to probably answer to. I see misinformation after misinformation. I see lies. I see facts that just aren't right. And so the guy who's in charge of this, the guy that was in charge of this particular claim, I forgot his name, but basically he just got hired. He just got promoted in April. So he's new to the job, right? He's the Fort Worth Regional Office Director, Eric Werner of the Fort Worth Regional SEC office. And Eric Werner, he got his promotion in April. Okay, he's new. I don't blame him for not getting all the facts right in this investigation, complaint, whatever it is. And they did get a lot of facts wrong. Okay, so let me try to clear up some of the misinformation in here. Basically, yeah. It says, additionally, Hart touted HEX, a HEX feature that was developed and called staking. Staking, right? As if staking is a new concept. You lock up your coins or you don't. It's totally optional. And the contract, the code, pays you more coins. So Hart claimed that investors who participated in staking could earn an average of 38% annual return. Yes, that's actually true. Now, why is that true? It's not true because somebody's promising it. So here's another misconception. Let me try to clear this thing up. All right. You go to hex.com, you see, oh, there's 38% APY being paid out. Must be a Ponzi scheme, because how could somebody be paying out all that money? It's not somebody paying out all that money. You're not giving your coins. When you stake your HEX tokens, you don't give your coins away to anybody. You give them to the smart contract code. And the code that you make a contract with yourself with, you say, I want to stake HEX for, let's say, 60 days or 500 days. You pick whatever number of days you want. And it's optional too. It's freaking optional. A lot of people come into this and they think, oh, Richard Hart's forcing you to stake your HEX. He's got his hand on your mouse and he's dragging your finger and forcing you into the smart contract like some evil villain. I know people out there that have never staked their HEX, and that's totally up to them. You don't have to if you don't want to. You don't even have to buy it if you don't want to. So don't worry. I'm not trying to force you to buy it anyway. I don't give financial advice. You buy it if you want to or not. I could care less. All right. So these people earn an average of 38% APY paid in more HEX tokens because the contract, the code, mints more of itself. Just like Bitcoin mints inflation when miners mint new coins into existence, HEX stakers, otherwise known as HEX miners, just like Bitcoin, they mint more HEX into existence by running the code. The code does all the work because you're trusting math and not man at the end of the day. You're trusting that if the code does what it says it's going to do, and it has, and it will continue to, because let's hope that 2 + 2 continues to equal 4, right? If you can trust that math is going to do what math is going to do, you can trust the smart contract to pay you out more HEX. So all these allegations of promises of 38% APY, it's just reading the code. If the code functions like it should, then yeah, that's what the code is going to do. There's nobody else promising that that's going to happen. The code is making it so. So my God, the fact that I just feel like the SEC is quite behind here, right? And I would not like to totally bash them because you can still learn. So let's try to educate. How do you help fix the issue? You can do a couple of different things. You can either educate people, or you can retroactively try to run enforcement actions and scare everybody and silence them and drive them out of the country. I choose to educate people, right? Here's the crazy thing about the SEC. They think that you need their protection. They think you're too stupid to understand crypto, when Gary Gensler himself has never owned cryptocurrency. He got chewed up by the Warren guy in court for running a class. Gary Gensler taught a class on cryptocurrency while having never owned cryptocurrency in his life. Is that a guy you would want to take a class from? Is that a guy you'd want to get your crypto education from? I'm out here giving you real crypto education because I use this stuff every day because I like it. All right. I like what it can do for me. I like the self-sovereignty. I like the fact that it's not owned by a bank and that I know that my coins are going to be there in my wallet when I wake up. That if a 2008 financial disaster happens, I can count on my private keys being my private keys. My keys, my coins. I trust math. I don't trust men who have fucked it up over and over and over again for our entire lifetime. So Gary Gensler, the SEC, they think you're dumb. They think you're stupid. All right. They think that you need their protection, and they think you're incapable of educating yourself to the dangers of cryptocurrency. Here, let me educate you right now. Cryptocurrency sometimes drops 90% in value. I've always said that. We've always said that in the HEX community. Not many other people are out there telling you that crypto is highly, highly volatile. So crypto sometimes goes up 1,000x, And then sometimes it drops 80 to 90%. But the price you pay for the high volatility is extreme potential for ROI. And that's just the game that we're playing because it's early days. When all the volatility is gone, all the opportunity will be gone, quite frankly, for life-changing wealth. So knowing that, you're knowing the game you're playing, right? You don't need daddy SEC or some third party of random old dudes that you never elected, that you never even talked to decide that they're going to protect you today. What's really going on? Where were they protecting you with FTX? Where were they protecting you with Mt. Gox, with Celsius? They were never there to protect you, all right? Because they failed. And after they failed to protect you, now they're trying to save face. They're trying to make themselves look good by going after anyone and everything in crypto. And it's not just HEX, by the way. Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, they're going after everybody that they can because apparently everything's a security according to them except for Bitcoin. That's what they just told Coinbase today. That news just came out that the SEC thinks that every crypto that's not Bitcoin is now a security, but they flip-flop back and forth every day. You've got the Hinman documents claiming that Ethereum is decentralized enough to not be a security. So nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's scrambling. Everybody's got different ideas of what is and isn't a security. And so when the SEC missed HEX, missed BlockFi, Three Arrows, Celsius, Nexo, Luna, they're saving face by enforcement actions rather than, actually helping the investor. They're crashing the prices of legitimate things like HEX, and thus they're actually hurting investors. Okay, when the SEC files a complaint against HEX and drops the price 30%, who is that protecting? You're actively hurting people by instilling fear into them that something may or may not be a security. I don't believe it is, but people don't know, and they just see SEC is going after this guy or that guy. Oh my God, I'm going to sell all my coins. So don't worry, guys. You can't shut this code off. All right. You can take somebody to court. It can be a long drawn out court case, or it can be a case that gets settled really quickly. Right. But protecting investors, my God, what a joke. You're hurting investors by enforcement actions, and we need education. We don't need your protection, Gary. We need education. So you're welcome for picking up the slack where you obviously failed to do so. So frame control, guys. When we're out there, I was just in a Twitter Spaces earlier. Frame control. Everybody's going to be coming at you, telling you HEX is a scam. Oh my God, did you hear the news? Did you hear the PulseChain news? You guys need to take this in stride, take it with laughter, with fun, and meme magic is a real thing. Let me tell you, if you make a meme that gets thousands and thousands of views, that lets people feel like they're in on the joke, that they're part of the club, that's all people want at the end of the day. They want to belong to something, and they want to get rich in the process. And that's what HEX and PulseChain have been doing for years now. It's a grassroots organic movement that gets bigger and bigger, and you can't, the snowball is rolling down the hill and you can't push it back up the hill. It's too big. We've hit critical mass. All right. That's what's happening. So control the narrative. Don't fall for the engagement bait out there. Don't fall for the FUD. HEX is going to be around tomorrow and next year and the year after that. PulseChain is going to be around tomorrow and the year after that and the decade after that, because the code is the law, and because the validators aren't getting shut off, and because the code that lives on top of the validating blockchain is immutable, unchangeable, uneditable. It's going to be there whether or not the price goes up and down due to a couple people getting scared like they did today. And guess what? We've already recovered halfway back up the red candle. We're already halfway up. We had a big red candle this morning, and we're already halfway climbing back up. So don't fall for the engagement bait, especially from these 20-follower anime profile picture nobody guys living in their mom's basement that just want your life force energy. All that a troll wants is for you to react to it. So just ignore them unless you're clout chasing. The only time that engaging in trolls is actually beneficial is if the person has way more followers than you. If Elon Musk was trolling me, I would be all over that, going back and forth all day long. But for the most part, guys, Elon Musk is not the one trolling. The people out there trolling and pointing fingers and, trying to dance on your grave, they're just nobodies, okay? They're cowards. They're cowards that only come out of the woodwork when something bad happens. And then they shut their mouth when everything is going fine. So there's people that just want to see you fail. There's people that just want all this to fail. And we're going to be the ones with the last laugh. We're going to be the ones having fun, making the memes, doing the in-person community meetups, real community building, spreading positivity, fun, good messaging, real education about crypto, and all the sad little soy boys that want to just cry in their mom's basements, or in their, I should say their girlfriend's boyfriend's basement, rather. They're the ones that want to call you engagement bait. Say, oh, I heard HEX was a scam. Look at all this. Obviously, Richard was buying all these Gucci and Prada with your money. because they can't put two and two together and see that, oh, how a guy that's already rich is just trying to get attention in a bear market. It's really not that hard to figure out. But these people, they hate us because they ain't us. They hate us because they had to watch us make all that money on the bull run, and they're about to watch us do it all again. In my opinion, I don't know where the price is going to go, but if things take off in the next bull run, the haters are going to have to double down and eat their words. And either they're going to join us or shut up, right? I mean, if you can't beat them, join them. We're always welcoming new people. We've converted quite a hater in our days. Many a hater have come over to the winning team, but there's always going to be those guys, so don't fall for it. That's my only message here. There's always going to be those guys that just want to see you fail because they're stuck in a life that they hate. Maybe they have relationships that suck. Maybe they hate their 9-to-5 job because they just get, dicked around by their boss all day. And they hate their lives. So they're going to project negativity. You need to rise above that. Just be better than that. All right. Keep a close eye on frame control and controlling the narrative, guys. Meme magic. Make a good meme or two. If you don't have a following, that's one great thing you could do is just make a good meme. Oh, Timothy Harris bringing the thunder. Thank you for the $5, Timothy Harris. My favorite patron. Just kidding. They're all my favorite. They're all my favorite. Yes, we will let the haters buy the top. Exactly. We got to let the haters buy the top. And this isn't our first rodeo. Remember the SEC investigation FUD where they were trying to give all of us letters, 60 or 70 or 80 of us trying to go to people's houses and hand them a letter like we're obliged to give away some information. Well, that didn't go anywhere, right? So they figured, okay, let's just go after the richer guy himself. We got to go after him somehow. And look, okay, SEC, if you're watching, I don't blame you. I understand how a guy buying a bunch of Gucci and Prada in the bottom of a bear market after raising, a lot of money for very successful crypto projects, I understand how that could look. But you need to actually talk to the man himself. And this whole, he bought the 55 karat diamond with HEX money. That one is super easy to disprove. That one will get thrown out in court real quick once you show them the on-chain blockchain data. And blockchain data can't be faked. It lives on the blockchain forever, okay? So all you got to do is say, look, here's my receipts for the Gucci crap. And here's all the other crypto that has literally never moved. You can go look on the blockchain right now. Go to etherscan.com, see all those coins that have never been sold. Not a single HEX, not a single PulseChain, PulseX has ever been sold. So that seems to be a really easy layup in court. Richard just shows, here's the credit card that I use for that all that Gucci stuff. Here's all the cash for the Ferrari. It came from his existing money. Guys, the man was already rich. And I don't understand. I think people that don't believe that just don't want it to be true. They want us all to be the ones getting scammed. But the only thing that we've been scammed into is real crypto. We've been scammed into financial freedom. We've been scammed into having a great community behind us. And the one thing that's happened throughout this whole entire SEC thing is it united the entire community. So really, they shot themselves in the foot. This whole thing backfired. We doubled down on our beliefs. We doubled down on our conviction. The movie's going to go viral, and we're going to be here for decades to come. All right. And they're going to have to eat their words. Hey, thanks for becoming a new member. HBomb96. HBomb96 as a member. Yeah, that's another way you can support the channel if you want to. Just become a YouTube member. I've also got a Patreon if you want. You might get a little more value out of that because we've got a Discord channel. We could talk or whatever. But thank you so much, HBomb. And Derek, thank you for the tip, bro. He says, thank you for the stream. HEX for the win. We're not going anywhere, guys. We're not going anywhere. Wouldn't it be so sweet if RH countersued the SEC for slander? He probably could. Look, I haven't read this whole boring ass document, 27 pages of bullshit. I haven't read it all, full disclosure, but I have seen just some blatant, poorly researched stuff in here. Okay. Poorly researched stuff. Let's see. At present, PLS and PulseX are practically worthless. What does that mean? Practically worthless. They've got a price, don't they? PulseChain's only down 30% from its sacrifice price. So practically worthless my ass, SEC. And the HEX value has dropped 98%. Yeah, that's what crypto does, bro. Crypto is volatile. Crypto has dropped 98%. So the SEC is alleging that just because they dropped in price, that is a case to be made for securities offerings. Oh, something went up and something went down. Welcome to every asset ever. Welcome to every house, every stock ever made. And so obviously they weren't security offerings, so they didn't need to be registered. All right. I really think there's a solid chance that these three assets fail some of the legs of the Howey test and can be dismissed in court. I really do think that. And again, worst case scenario, the code's not going anywhere. The code is the law. Worst case scenario is a fine that I personally believe that Richard will be able to afford. Call me crazy. Multi-millionaire, rumored billionaire. I think he can afford a $10 million fine. So yeah, you're not getting any updates. Richard Hart never gave any updates about PulseChain, because if he gave updates, then you would think that you'd have expectations, right? So you're not getting any updates. It's done when it's done. That's basically what they're alluding to in this page 23, it seems. Yep, they're really pulling at straws here. They're really grasping at straws. I mean, I saw a whole paragraph about just blatant wrong facts about PulseChain. They said you needed 5 million Pulse to be a validator. You need 32 million. Just like in Ethereum, you need 32 Ethereum. PulseChain operates by paying 75% of PLS tokens generated through gas fees to PLS validators. You know what that sounds a lot like? Sounds like fucking Ethereum, bro. A lot of the fees that the validators make get divvied up between all the validators. That's how all blockchains work. It sounds like Bitcoin to me. And the other 25% of the fees are sent to the Ethereum Genesis address. Not true. The SEC is claiming that 25% of the PulseChain fees are sent to the blockchain's Genesis address. No, they're sent to a burn address. They're sent to an address that nobody owns the private keys to, thus making the token net deflationary by burning a small amount of every block, every transaction that goes through. 25% of all fees get burned. It doesn't go to a Genesis address that anybody owns the private keys to. So a PulseChain investor can become a validator by staking. That's true. Or locking up 5 million PLS tokens. It's like did this guy not even just go to pulsechain.com and read that it takes 32 million? That's where I draw like that kind of little info where you could literally go to pulsechain.com, pull it up. Oh, it's 32 million, not 5 million. That tells me that these guys did zero research and are really just going through the motions. All right. So they're going to have to do a lot better job of a lot of this stuff to actually have a valid argument in any court. Okay. Staking feature, virtual lending within the HEX ecosystem. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, virtual lending is basically foregoing the staking, the ability to have your coins now. So I don't know if they're getting hung up on that term. Guys, I can go through all these pages. I'm switching around right now. I'm on page, page 11. They're talking about HEX CA. I don't even know what that is. Contract address. Oh my God. This is terrible. During the HEX offering period, investors purchased HEX tokens by transferring ETH to a HEX wallet on the Ethereum blockchain. No, not true. This wallet is known as the HEX contract address. No. If you send HEX to the contract address, you lose all your money. Nobody has the keys to the contract address, okay? The origin address got a copy of all the bonuses in the early days, and the origin address may have recycled coins. That's not illegal. There's nothing against that. You could have, that was always an option. All right. That was always an option. Let's see. A lot of trolls in here today. Hey guys, look, if you don't want HEX, if you don't want to buy HEX, then don't buy it. Don't buy it, bro. Uh-oh, we got the Hamburglar in the chat. All right, you're going to put on a show. Yeah, guys, this will be great. So look, I just want you guys to know that people forgot what crypto is all about. All right. Crypto is about self-sovereignty, taking your own private keys back into your own hands. It's about financial freedom, getting rich, whatever you want to call it. Not your keys, not your coins. Everybody just seems to have lost the plot. So HEX, PulseChain, PulseX are really some of the only real cryptos out there that encourage people to learn about real crypto. Get a MetaMask wallet, get a self-sovereign non-custodial wallet, take your money off of exchanges that are getting failed all the time, getting hacked left and right. Take your coins off of FTX. Did you hear Sam Bankman-Fried might have just scammed everyone again today from the suburbs in his mom's basement? Sam Bankman-Fried, they think he might have actually launched another shitcoin called Bald or something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's about removing middlemen, guys. Crypto is about removing middlemen, like the SEC, just like the SEC, just another middleman. Okay, no one can shut this code off. 35,000 validators. None of them are run by Richard Hart. All right. What we got in the chat here? So look, guys, yeah, what's going to happen in reality? Maybe a fine, maybe business as usual. Maybe we take them all the way to court for the SEC to make a real decision. But the whole misappropriating user funds, that is clearly BS. That one is going to be an easy write-off. that was just to grab headlines. All right. And in a way, it almost was serendipitous because misappropriating funds has a ring to it, right? And that ring gets a lot of eyeballs. So whoever's writing ads on The Verge or writing articles on, The Verge or Reuters, we're getting into mainstream now. We are literally getting into mainstream 4 days before HEX is about to blow up and go worldwide, countrywide at least. I can't imagine Netflix or Hulu not picking up this documentary. I can't imagine people not wanting this to be on their streaming platform. The biggest story in crypto. It's awesome. It's awesome, guys. Hey, SEC, is the SEC... Hey, Coffee, is the SEC saving us again? Yep. Don't you love getting saved by the SEC, guys? Isn't it so great? So nice of them to save us and nuke our prices. But you guys know crypto's volatile, guys. You got to hold on. If you don't believe, then dump it all. But if you believe that crypto is going to be around for a couple of years, that's all you need to ask yourself. Is HEX going to survive? Is PulseChain going to survive? You know what helps with that? Asking yourself if anybody can shut them off. The answer is no. You can't shut off PulseChain. You can't shut off HEX. So as long as they're going to be around, they're going to have a price. And I'm just banking on, like all you guys, I'm just banking on the fact that speculating that in 2 more years' time, the price will be higher than it is today. And I believe it will be multiple X's higher, maybe even 100X, maybe even 1,000X. Hamburglar might be drunk. He's telling everybody to buy XRP. Oh, man, Hamburglar has been eating too much of his own supply at Mickey D's. Let's see. Can't shut off FTX. Oh, wait. Yeah, you can't shut off fake crypto, right? Real crypto is decentralized. Centralized exchanges like FTX have a middleman. You can go after them. And sometimes that middleman does naughty things with all your funds. Sometimes he does that. The Hamburglar's Richard Hart, lol. Oh, man. People are shitting on the Hamburglar in chat. What a good name for a troll, though, at least. The Hamburglar. All right, guys. Yeah. So, look, don't be scared. Or just don't buy the token, right? If you don't want to buy the token, don't buy it. But we'll probably have the last laugh. We'll see you at the top of the market when you're buying our bags, right? We'll see you at the top, kids. Little boys out there don't realize what real crypto is. It's going to be okay. You were never meant to make it anyway. If you didn't understand what real crypto versus fake crypto was, you were always NGMI. Richard too big to fail. Well, I guess. I mean, maybe he's too fat to fail. No, just kidding. Just kidding, Richard. Yeah. So what do you guys want to talk about in the chat? We got about 20 minutes left. 600 people watching. Smash the like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Look, if you're going to get fudded out by this, then you need more conviction in your beliefs. You need more conviction in what crypto is, and you need more education. All right. You need more education. So I'm the one out here educating. I don't see Gary doing that. I see Gary going after people, innocent people that are just trying to innovate and make new products. Like the poor library guy, right? He had to shut the whole library business down. But guess what? Here's the crazy thing. LBRY, the token, the protocol, it's still up. Odyssey.com, it still exists. Okay. So their protocol is still up, but they had made a company that had to get shut down. You know, a cool thing about HEX, there's no company. There's no building full of people. I'm not an employee for HEX. I'm not an employee for PulseChain, and neither is anybody. There are no employees, even though it doesn't make sense to people. Yeah, guess what? This is crypto. All right. It's not corporate. Crypto is not corporate. Coinbase, that's a company. But guess what? It's not real crypto. If it has a company behind it, it's probably not a real decentralized crypto. If there's a building full of people with a chief marketing officer and a chief organizational officer and a business analyst and an intern, it kind of sounds like a typical traditional company. And that makes it a lot easier to claim, oh, it's a security because you're behaving just like a company. When you have a grassroots organic crypto movement, I think it confuses a lot of people because it's so different than what people are used to. But if we're going to live in this new paradigm, we're going to be making our own magic made up internet money. We need to get used to the fact that these decentralized organizations or these decentralized groups, they're basically just groups of people online. It's like an internet club that started a token. That token now has a price and you could trade it wherever you want to. We got to get used to that being the new reality because that really is what's happening here. And look, guys, if you looked at the top, couple of hundred wallets, here's something that's kind of bullish, right? This big wick down today, during this big wick down of PulseChain specifically, a couple of the top 500 wallets dumped all their tokens, and we didn't even drop 70%. We're at a 30% dip right now. And we had a couple of top 500 holders of PulseChain exit the system because they fudded themselves out. Now, are they going to regret that when PulseChain makes new all-time highs? Probably. They're probably going to regret that. But look, it's redistribution of wealth. So the more bigger players you can get out early, the better that is for all the smaller players that want to buy the dip, that want to ride the rocket ship for the next bull run. Okay? So what do we got in here? Some loser trolls in the chat. Sorry, sad boys. Yeah, smash the likes. Smash the likes. Yeah, it looks like some people in the chat like to buy tops and not dips, right? Coop DeVille says, the fact RH was spending money like Jeff Bezos. Got to wonder where he got that money. I just told you where he got the money, bro. Go scroll back to the original video. In the beginning of the video, I told you where he got the money. Number 1, successful internet startups prior to 2001. Number 2, mining Bitcoin, primarily mining Bitcoin. Number 3, yes, he did probably, he most likely has a lot of Ethereum and HEX and PulseChain tokens from, the early days of the sacrifice phases, most likely. But he was already rich before that too. You guys don't realize how little money, like if you have $100 million and you go and you buy, 3 sports cars and 20 bags of Gucci, you have $99 million left. You know what I mean? Like you could buy all this stuff and like not even make a dent in your portfolio. I think some people just don't realize that when you're at that level, when you're 9 digits, you got 3 commas and 9 digits in your bank account. It doesn't, if you're buying a couple of flashy things and posting them online, oh my God, $10,000 outfit. Yeah, that's like 0.001% of your net worth. You're allowed to do that kind of stuff when you're rich, right? Rich people can still steal. Yes, they can. And they do. Haven't you heard of Sam Bankman-Fried? Rich people can definitely still steal. Sam Bankman-Fried is a prime example of that. Let's see. As you see is the Hamburglar. Yeah, the Hamburglar is actually Gary. Agree with everything you said, but Ripple took ages. That's the problem, right? Well, now, see, Ripple's a little bit different. Ripple was already on centralized exchanges. So here's the cool thing about HEX and PulseChain. People don't know what PulseX is. If you're new here, this is also for you. PulseX is a clone of Uniswap, just like PulseX is a clone of Ethereum. And if you want the real analogy, HEX was also designed to be a store of value like Bitcoin. So you've got HEX trying to be a better Bitcoin. You've got PulseChain trying to be a cheaper, faster Ethereum. And then you've got PulseX trying to be a better Uniswap. So these are 3 things that already work, right? HEX, Ethereum, Uniswap. Right? HEX, Ethereum, Uniswap. And we're going to take those ideas and iterate on them and try to make them better. So HEX, ETH, Uni, or Bitcoin, ETH, Uni, HEX, PulseChain, PulseX. Okay. That's the analogy there. It's all decentralized. 99% of the trading for HEX and PulseChain and PulseX, it happens on chain. It happens on decentralized exchanges. Again, the way crypto is supposed to be, without your private keys. With your private keys, not giving your private keys away to somebody else. So when we're all trading on this decentralized exchange, again, PulseX, clone of Uniswap v2, it's openly copyable, by the way. It's not like he ripped off the code or anything. PulseChain, Uniswap v2 has been out for a long time. A lot of people have copied it. Uniswap.com, what is it? QuickSwap, PancakeSwap. There's a lot of copies of Uniswap out there, v2. There's a lot of copies out there. PulseX is just a copy of Uniswap v2, except the trading fees, some of those get diverted to automatically buying and burning the coin, causing consistent buy pressure from an automated smart contract bot. Again, no middleman or anything, just a buy and burn function that's run in the code. All right. So the thing about Ripple is that Ripple is kind of from that early era, right? It was from the 2013 era of crypto where we didn't have decentralized exchanges yet. We didn't have Uniswap yet. Uniswap was actually a huge invention, and a lot of people don't realize how big it was. But Ripple at the time, unfortunately, it had to be listed on all these centralized exchanges because there was nowhere else to put it. There was really, I think they even might have came before Ethereum. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Ripple launched before Ethereum did. So that was that quasi-decentralized, kind of not really decentralized era where you couldn't list something on a DEX and you had to have centralized exchange listings. So the big problem with Ripple that HEX and PulseChain don't have is that Ripple had to be listed on centralized exchanges. And then when they got, in trouble by the SEC, all those centralized companies got scared and delisted Ripple because they also didn't want to be in violation of breaking securities laws. But if you're not listed on any centralized exchanges, again, HEX and PulseChain, PulseX, all these coins are traded 99% of their volume is done on decentralized exchanges. So if you're not listed anywhere, then there's nowhere to get delisted from. Okay, so that's the danger that HEX and PulseChain don't have to deal with. We were never listed on Coinbase to begin with. And the price of XRP was suppressed because it was delisted off all these centralized exchanges, and you couldn't even buy it on a DEX because it's not compatible. Like, it's not, unless you have some weird bridging stuff, XRP is not compatible with Ethereum. PulseChain and HEX, those are all compatible with EVM machines. You could bridge coins and all this stuff decentralized. So yeah, it would be kind of not ideal to drag the case on for a long time, in my opinion. I would, if it was me, I might try to settle the case early, but I'm not Richard. And if it was a guy with a bigger ego, maybe that really wanted to win this case and set an example for future projects, who knows? They might take it all the way till decision time, and it might take 2, 3, 4 years. But in that time, the price won't be suppressed as much as Ripple because there's still plenty of decentralized places to get it from. I mean, the whole point of all this stuff is to teach people how to buy it and sell it on DEXs in a decentralized way where there's no middlemen shutting you off. So that's the main difference I see between Ripple and HEX, for example. So yeah, I wouldn't like it for it to take ages, but it wouldn't be as devastating price-wise if it did take ages because we're all buying and trading this stuff on DEXs anyway, right? HEX to the moon. Thank you for the tip, brother. He wants to know, will the SEC announce that they were wrong about Richard publicly once proven so, or will this be an act of defamation? They get to do so with no repercussions. I would really hope that they would admit that they were wrong. Gary doesn't seem to like to admit that he was wrong. He still thinks that he still wants to appeal the Ripple case. He's not even ready to admit that he lost the Ripple case. So that man, little Gary, seems to have a problem with admitting he's wrong. He seems to kind of think everything's a security. And he doesn't really know. He squabbles when asked the hard questions. He squanders around and kind of freaks out and gets all shaky and nervous and stuff. So I don't think that they will look. Maybe under a different ruler, a different head of the SEC, a different chairman. Maybe Gary's on his way out. Who knows? After the next election cycle, we might see some change-ups in the different chairmen, right? Especially maybe if a Republican gets elected or if more of a progressive Democrat gets elected, then they might shuffle some chairs around and they might go, out with the old and in with the new. And in that case, yeah, it would be a lot more likely, right? But if we get the same sad president in office again, and if Gary gets to stick around for 4 more years, I don't believe that they're going to ever announce that they were wrong, unfortunately, right? And yes, that's the unfortunate reality right now. They get to go ahead and get away with defamation with no repercussions. That's the bullshit aspect of this whole thing. They're messing with everybody. Brian Armstrong, Jesse Powell, Library Guy, Ripple Guy. I forgot the Ripple guy's name, but what's his name? Garlinghouse, Brad Garlinghouse. They're just getting fucked with, basically. And there's not really much you can do about it. Like, there's not much these companies can do other than say, well, screw this. We're going to go to a different country. We're going to take our business to Singapore because the USA is just bullying us into complying with non-existent laws or outdated laws. But the laws are clear. The laws are clear. Sure, Gary, sure. So my hope is that people can't stand the current president. My hope is that somebody new will get in office. Now, whether that's the party that you like or not, I almost don't even care. I think we just need to scramble things up a little bit, play a little bit of musical chairs and get somebody else in that SEC chair position. Whose name doesn't begin with a G. Okay. Preferably. So I think hopefully that would usher in more clear laws, more clear regulations, and everybody would feel a little bit more safe in that case about starting actual crypto innovation. About, if I'm a smart contract developer, should I have to be worried that Gary Gensler is going to put me in jail like he did with the Tornado Cash guy? I mean, look at this. Tornado Cash developer makes decentralized code that other people use for illegal purposes. North Korea used it for illegal purposes. Plenty of regular, normal, upstanding citizens also used it for legal purposes. Obfuscating, privacy is a natural right, and it's totally legal in most places, except when the powers that be don't like the way you use it. and they go ahead and shut the Solidity developer in jail. In jail, guys. That's awful. That is not a good look for the USA being a friendly jurisdiction to make code in. And this is just a guy that made the code, just a guy that made a simple piece of code, right? So I'm hoping that I forgot his name, the Tornado Cash developer, but I think he was very wrongly imprisoned, and I hope that he gets out. But I think we just need a new administration and a new group of individuals running the show. Let's see. I just bought more PLS. Wow. Congratulations, Simon. I hope that works out. I think it will. I actually just bought more PLS too. If you guys want to know personally, today I bought $150 worth of PLS just earlier today. I think I bought like 2 million, or it's like a 1.9 million PLS maybe. So, hey, not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing. That's personally where I'm putting my money, where I'm putting my bets. I'm gambling on the fact that code is law, that the truth will prevail, and that the good guys are really the good guys, even if sometimes they look like the bad guys. Sometimes the bad guys look like the good guys. Alex Mashinsky wore a suit and tie, didn't he? He was a TradFi bro. Everybody trusted him, and he lost all your money, and it's gone. Yeah, arrest all the car builders and ban the cars. It's like arrest the guy that invented the knife because somebody else stabbed somebody with a knife. Yeah, drunk people and criminals use them to kill people. Yeah, just because you make a tool, you can't control which way people use the tool. Okay. Doubled my HEX bag. Wow, scapegoat. Interesting tactic right there. Doubled his HEX bag. It's a pretty good time to. Let's see what the price is. Oh, wow. 0.006 of a cent. So really, we're only down. I mean, Hex has been around 1 penny for a while now on the Ethereum side. So we're only down about 33%, maybe 40% at the most today. I imagine this recovery won't last forever, or this dip won't last forever. So there will probably be a recovery, in my humble opinion. Hey, Daniel says you can just take niacin and save money because NMN is just converted to niacin. I will look into that, but I feel like the NMN has a different mechanism of action. I know that it does convert to niacin, but if you just take the niacin, I think a lot of that gets burned up in your gut. And I don't think you really get as good of absorption that way. You know, like when you take a vitamin B pill and your pee is, neon yellow, like bright yellow, that's the niacin flushing out of you, because vitamin B in niacin form is very, very poorly absorbed. So I prefer NMN, even though it is kind of overpriced. There's like 99% better absorption rate because it's liposomal and it's wrapped in fat. And that bypasses a lot of your gut and it goes right into your intestines for maximum absorption. I'm not an expert. I'm not a health expert, just like I'm not a financial advisor, but thanks for the idea. Thanks for the thought. All right. Let's see. What brand of NMN? I use one called Renew, RENUE. RENUE. Yeah, that's probably it. All right, guys, what do you want to talk about? We're sitting at an hour right here. I'm pretty hungry. I might go eat dinner. Please don't fudge yourself out. And if you do, that's on you. You have to live with your decision either way, okay? I choose to believe that the pain of regret is worse than the pain of failure. So I will ride this thing into the absolute ground with all you guys for the next 15 years. I don't care. I'm going to be here. I believe in the code. I believe in the truth. And I hope you all do too. Look, some people think it's too risky to get in. If you do, that's okay. It might be too risky for you. If you can't handle these wild dips, these giant 40% candles one day, then maybe the whole game of crypto is not for you. But I know we're all down. We're all down bad. It's upsetting. It's frustrating. It's not ideal. I don't like seeing my net worth be down 90%. I don't like it. Okay. But over time, I've learned to flip the script on myself, to actually buy the dip and be greedy when others are fearful. It's in my mind, I've been able to change my way of thinking to believe that it's too risky not to do anything at all. It is too risky to sit on the sidelines and let this potential opportunity of a lifetime pass you by, in my humble opinion. Too risky for me to sit on the sidelines and watch as something like HEX or PulseChain goes up 1,000x in price, and I was the one that sold the bottom. I'll take the risk of riding this all down to zero. I'll take the risk of going back to McDonald's. I know the jobby jobs are always going to be there. The 9 to 5s, the corporate rat race is always going to be there. I'm choosing the way out. Hey guys, like and subscribe. I will see you on the next video. Love all you guys. Positive framing, control the narrative. Like and subscribe. Crypty Girl, great to see you. You guys are the best. Greatest community in the world. Couldn't ask for better. Hey, Zach, good to see you too. Sorry if I missed anybody in the chat, but seems to be all my favorite people in there. Adios.